Hey, I have this small part that I broke recently. It's a plate that controls a neutral safety switch on a transmission, and I managed to chip the side of it when I was installing it. I had it cocked in there crooked, and when I tightened the outer bolts on it, when it pressed in, it was crooked and it snapped that little corner off it. So I was trying to figure out a way to see if I could repair this. Now, I already ordered one. It'll just take a little time to get here, and I think a friend of mine has a spare transmission with one of these in it that I can borrow if needed. So my options would be to try to reproduce this entire thing, take a piece of steel, um, you know, cut it to dimensions on a lathe, drill it. These dimples are for a detent ball for the neutral safety switch. I'm not really sure all of their purposes. I know this one is definitely for neutral. I'm not sure what these are all for, what their purpose is. And then it's got this thing on the back, which would be a problem. I'd have to cut this thing on a lathe large and then mill this out, leaving this little piece here, which is going to be a problem. The other option would be to try to build this up with a weld and then grind it down. So I'll take some reference measurements here. I have a light above me, so it might be hard to see. 0.3645 on the width of it. That width, anyhow. This is a little less than a quarter inch on that width there. This piece is a different width. 0.1. And let's see. The total height would be again less than a quarter inch, and the height of this little piece right there, 0.0685. So that's kind of the measurements of it. If the problem is if I'm unsuccessful in welding this, it's going to destroy it basically. You know how it gets when you start putting high power arcs on there. I would probably try to TIG weld it with a steel rod. I don't know exactly the number of that rod. I'd have to look at it. I don't know if brazing would be strong enough for it. And MIG, I think, would be too sloppy. I guess that's an option, but I think it'd be way too sloppy. I need more control, like you would get from TIG. So I don't know. Maybe I won't even try it. I don't know. Like I said, it's just an exercise here because I do have one on order, and a friend that has a transmission that I haven't asked him yet, but I can probably borrow this piece out of it until mine comes in. So anyhow, we'll see what happens. Okay, so I made an attempt at fixing this part here, and didn't come out too bad. It's not perfect. There is a little porosity in it. I see a little bit there, and there's a little bit on the back side here. And just a So I've dropped it on the floor twice and it didn't break, so I guess that's a good thing. But I was able to recreate the shape of that tab, and I don't think it came out too bad. I got the dimensions as close as I could to what I recorded earlier. It looks a little off to me, and I don't have the valve that this fits in with me, so I don't know for sure. But overall, it didn't come out too bad. It seems like it blended into this metal pretty good. A friend of mine gave me a silicone bronze TIG rod, and so I used that. I really like that rod, by the way. So I'd have to fit this into the valve that this slides into, and this thing doesn't really do all that much. What happens is it slides into the valve, a big long hydraulic valve, and all it does is turn with the valve. The valve turns this, and this is a neutral safety switch, right? So this is in a neutral position, and as the valve turns, this is reverse, and this is forward. These notches don't come into play on this particular switch. This is for another application. So that's all it's doing, that I can tell, is rotating with the valve, and then this detent tells you if you're in neutral or not. So there's not a ton of pressure on it. Obviously, you don't want to break. If this thing breaks off and it goes inside a transmission, so I would hate to see this thing break off inside a transmission. So I'm going to leave it up to the owner of the boat to decide, if he wants to use this. We have one coming. It won't be here until next week. And I know we wanted to test the rebuild on that transmission. And from the first video, I broke this part, reinstalling it. It got wedged in there crooked, and broke it from the first video. So anyhow, see what happens, right? I think I'm about done with it until I fit it. Once I fit it, I may have to, take a little bit off the sides or something, But other than that, I think I'm done with it. It was a good fun little project. I like that silicone bronze TIG rod for sure. I have a sample piece I was going around with somewhere around here. Piece of steel. Here it is. And yeah, this I think I had my amperage too high on this one. See, it's kind of wide and flat. I turned it down a little bit, and this was much better. And this one was, well, it's all dirty too. I didn't clean this metal, so this one's full of porosity. It picked up a lot of dirt, and it's a little colder, but it looks like it's still stuck good to this piece of steel. But too hot, just right, too cold and dirty. So, but anyhow, I like that rod. I'm gonna order some of those. So there you go.